Trick or treat!
I could change, rearrange, and get strange for you.
Hello there, everybody. This is 22 Spooky Dude here. And for this year's Halloween review, it is going to be for the movie Trick or Treat Scooby-Doo. So Trick or Treat Scooby-Doo is about when the gang puts Coco Diablo and Kitty in jail, and no other mysteries have been happening since then. So the gang has taken definitely a longer break than they expected. Fred is the one that really wants to have a new mystery to solve, and so Fred gets his wish, the gang have a mystery to solve, and that's really all you have to know about the plot. So before I review Trick or Treat Scooby-Doo, I'm going to leave it to my guest reviewer, Andrew Hayes, aka The Duck, to review this film. So Andrew, take it away, man.
What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Andrew Hayes here, back with another review with Tony, another Scooby-Doo review. This year we're reviewing Trick or Treat Scooby-Doo, the newest one to come out, and I gotta say that the newer Scooby-Doo movies I haven't really been a fan of, especially last year's. I did not like the Scooby-Doo and Courage the Cowardly Dog movie. I haven't seen all the newer ones, but the last newer one that I have seen that I liked was Franken-Creepy. That one was really good. But other than that, it's just been very not good. When Tony suggested let's do this one for this year, I was a little bit skeptical at first. I'm not saying I didn't want to do it, but I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna like this. I wasn't really that excited. And then I had a friend recommend it to me, and then I saw it got good reviews, and the people were very positive about it. So I got very much interested, and I am happy to report that Trick or Treat Scooby-Doo is a very good movie, a very fun time. Obviously, I will get into my thoughts about the movie in more detail right now. Let's start off with the positives. First off, I gotta mention real quick, as always, the animation still very good. The voice acting phenomenal, as always. My boy Matthew Lillard always doing a fantastic job as I almost said Scooby, as Shaggy Rogers, killing it in the Scooby-Doo game since 2002. So, oh wow, that's 20 years now. I just did quick math in my head. The jokes don't feel like lazy. They're very good. They're smart. They're funny. There's this whole ongoing joke about because it's Halloween, Shaggy and Scooby, who are, big food connoisseurs, as you could say, want to go trick-or-treating and eat all this candy. So, there's this big, ongoing joke that they can't because they gotta solve this mystery. And they're just we'll have time, or no, we won't. And that's just really cute, and it's really funny, and I really enjoyed that because, it's just a very well done joke. And there's a bunch of other jokes in there that are real funny, and I really liked. So that's not all of them land, but for the most part, all of them hit their mark. They're very funny, and that's my biggest positive. And I would say even the writing in general is another big positive. There's a lot of Easter eggs and a lot of fan service, I feel, in this one. There's a lot of moments where if you were a fan of the original show, back in the day, back in, I want to say 60s, I don't know, don't quote me on that, but the original Scooby-Doo Where Are You show, that one, there's a lot of references to that, and it feels earned because it's this whole thing is a big continuation of this, and I feel it was earned because this story is very much connected to the original show, in my opinion. There's a lot of costumes and callbacks to the big bad villains that they faced in the show, which I loved. And you know, it begs the question, where did they get these costumes? They all got these costumes from somewhere, and there was something that was falling right here. My ghost duck, it is spooky. Oh my god, I should not have moved that, because this thing fell. Oh my god. I am a mess. But spooky season, spooky duck, quack, quack. Now that that's out of the way, I don't even remember what the frick I was saying. They're all pretty high-tech costumes if you really think about it, so I like how they answer that question. And, yeah, like, I just love, like, it's all a big continuation of, it feels like the overarching, like, story of Scooby-Doo. Coco Diablo, it's a new character, very well done. I loved this character. I love how she interacts with the group, especially Velma. I love her place in the the movie and how she fits into everything. That's very good. As for my negatives, the biggest thing I can say is the reveal of who's behind everything, in my opinion, is a little anticlimactic. I'm not saying it had to be this really big twist, but I thought at the end they were getting maybe a little bit too cutesy sometimes with trying to have these red herrings and throw you off the scent. And the way they did it, it was like, alright, it's either like this one really obvious person, and it'd be stupid because it would be too obvious, or it's this other person, which, again, isn't obvious, or is obvious, and it was like, oh, well, I don't really like that. Like, yes, and the reasoning makes sense, and I do appreciate that. Like, it made sense on, like, why it was this person, and it wasn't, like, so that I appreciated about it, but it just being this person because I didn't like this character, and I didn't like, oh, man, like, I thought it was somebody cooler, and, like, whatever. Like, I just thought it was anticlimactic. I didn't really like who it was, who was the big person behind everything, and I didn't like that. Also, the only other big negative I have is that there's this character, forgive me because I forget the name, it's the sidekick to Coco Diablo. I even said Coco Chanel, who is a real person. No, but it's Coco Diablo. Way too much time spent with this character. Like, isn't a funny character, isn't well written. I found this character pretty annoying, kind of sad, like, just felt like a pest to me, and I didn't like that. Oh, and the other, like, one big thing is, like, towards the third act, because of, like, I guess they tried to, like, get cutesy with the stuff, like, throwing you off and whatnot, and whatnot, and who it ended up being and all that stuff. I did feel like because of those things, the third act dragged a little bit, and at that point I was like, all right, like, let's get this over with. We kind of got bored towards the end, but overall, other than those things, I did very much enjoy it. I think this is a very big positive in terms of Scooby-Doo movies, the Scooby-Doo animated movies certainly, and I rate this movie a B. Once again, thank you so much, Tony, for having me on. I love doing these every year. I can't wait for next year, and yeah, always remember to holler if you hear me.
Thank you so much, Andrew, for reviewing Trick or Treat Scooby-Doo. So, Trick or Treat Scooby-Doo is a film that I haven't had too many expectations for. I wasn't, like, too impressed by the trailer. I'm always just rooting for these movies to be good because they're not always the greatest, but of course, when a good one does come out, it should definitely be celebrated. I was really just pulling for this one to be a good one, and I gotta say, it's a good one. It's a good one. I really enjoyed this, honestly. I had a lot of fun. I think this one definitely really gets me into the Halloween spirit. I truly just had a big smile on my face watching Trick or Treat Scooby-Doo because it really is indeed a treat. So something I'm just going to talk about first of all is the animation style, because this is something I have honestly been hesitant about. I didn't think it looked too fluid from the trailer. I wasn't sure how it was going to work out, but that's a positive I want to talk about, because the utilization of this animation style is something that actually really impressed me. It was actually a lot more fluid. It flowed more naturally with this environment than I honestly could have expected. And what I love about this new animation style they're going for is it really is harkening back to the animation style of the characters from the OG Scooby-Doo cartoon, which I think is so awesome. I gotta give a lot of credit to the animators, to be honest, because they really did such a wonderful job with how they did the character designs with the backgrounds. And it's a really nice way to get me nostalgic thinking about the original show. If this is the animation style they're going to decide to go with moving forward with these movies, I honestly have no problem with that. And that's something else that this one knows perfectly too, is the Easter eggs, the fan service. It is one of those movies that's there to get you nostalgic, but it's done in a very natural way. The nostalgia, whether it's the Easter eggs or anything like that, flows really well into the story. It didn't feel forced or anything like that, in my opinion. It actually flowed very naturally. It's one of those movies where the fan service is honestly done right, and especially for those that are deep into the lore of Scooby-Doo, you're definitely going to notice quite a bit of fan service, and I think you're going to definitely be happy. The voice cast is really strong all around, which is no surprise to say about these movies at this point. Whether they turn out good or not, the movies themselves, I can't really say the voice cast is ever really like the weakest link. I always feel like everyone is giving it their all. You know, Frank Welker, Gray Griffin, Matthew Lillard, Kate Micucci, all of them do a very good job of voicing the gang, the Mystery Incorporated gang. But then also Mirna Velasco, which I hope I pronounced right, voices Coco Diablo, and I thought she did a really good job with that voice role right there. And of course there's other ones to mention, like Jeff Bennett, there's also Anthony Kerrigan, you name it. Anyone you could really think of, honestly, I think they did really strong work across the board from there. The Mystery Incorporated gang still is a lot of fun. Of course, I love following Fred, I love following Daphne, I love following Velma, Shaggy, Scooby. The gang really doesn't miss a beat with their interactions here. I love how Fred was just so desperate for a new mystery. Then I also thought how the gang was kind of reacting to like Fred being desperate for a new mystery, like in the beginning of this movie. It was actually kind of sweet. Coco Diablo I thought was a really fun character. She's the one that they put in prison in the beginning of this movie, and I really like the purpose that she served for the plot. I thought it was really cool how they utilized that character. I also did find the mystery that the gang had to solve in this film to be very interesting. I love this little side story of Shaggy and Scooby just wanting to get their candy. I thought that was like super hilarious right there. The portions where Velma has a crush on Coco Diablo I also thought was just very cute. I thought it was just genuinely very funny. And this also has a really stellar soundtrack. I don't want to spoil what popular song they use. All I can say is it's used in the library scene, and I wasn't expecting to hear like a copyrighted song like that, but I thought it was super cool that in that library scene that's the song they used. And then this song is more original, but the song is called Change, and I'm not even kidding you, I literally thought this song was from the 80s. Because I was trying to look up the song on my Spotify and I couldn't find it. And then that's when I found out that it was an actual original song written for this film. In which kudos to the makers of the song Change, because wow, I really did get that 80s vibe. There's also this character named Trevor, and he's one of those very odd characters, but I genuinely did really enjoy him. I thought he was really fun. And I don't want to really go into specific with another character, but all I will say is this character is a little too obsessive with the Mystery Incorporated gang. I could just leave it at that. But yeah, that was definitely quite a character right there. I think what the movie does in the writing department for the story was very interesting. It's super well paced. I didn't think anything really dragged, to be honest. It's a short movie. All these movies normally are anyways. So even if it's a short movie, pacing of course is very important. And this, in my opinion, was a very well paced movie. When it comes to issues with Trick or Treat Scooby-Doo, I would just say that there are certain comedic bits that didn't always land. Some frames with the animation style weren't 100% there. Not anything terrible. Like I said, the way they utilized this animation style was a lot better than I expected, and I really do mean a lot better. But definitely certain frames weren't the greatest. There were a little bit of imperfections with certain frames of the animation style, with a little bit of I guess the movements, if that makes any sense. But it didn't really distract me. Just things like that I just kind of noticed. When it comes to the character Trevor, I really enjoyed the character, but there is a scene where, booger jokes, I'll just say this, booger jokes are personally not my thing. In this one scene with Trevor, let's just say the animators, they really play around with the booger on that character, and I don't know if it's necessarily a flaw because it has nothing to do with the story, of course, but it is something that I was immediately okay, yeah. I would say the overall conclusion to the mystery, I kind of wanted something a little more. They do try to throw twists and turns with the mystery. I definitely get what they were going with, but just when you get to the final actual reveal, that's when I was okay, well, I can't say I'm really that surprised, to be honest. But I really did have a very fun time with this movie. This does what I wanted a Scooby-Doo movie to be. It gets me into the Halloween spirit. Even if I expected more from how it concluded, I still thought the mystery was overall very interesting. The gang's interactions with each other is a lot of fun. I thought Coco Diablo was, I think, definitely one of the more interesting antagonists we've had in a while with this universe. I really enjoyed her a lot. Out of all the recent Scooby-Doo movies, this is the one that's really harkening back to old school Scooby-Doo, and I just really appreciated the crew doing something like that. I think the fan service fits very naturally into the story. Really well done writing, a lot of very funny bits, especially with Scooby and Shaggy wanting to get their candy for Halloween, and of course Velma having her crush on Coco Diablo in particular. Those two elements definitely had me laughing a lot. Like I said, the soundtrack is a blast. It's definitely one of the more fun movies I've seen in 2022, and I am going to give Trick or Treat Scooby-Doo 3 out of 4 stars. So everyone, in the comments down below, let me know, what did you think of Trick or Treat Scooby-Doo? And if you have kept up with a lot of the Scooby-Doo movies, what is your favorite Scooby-Doo movie from the 2010s decade? What's your favorite Scooby-Doo movie of the 2020s decade so far? And if you just want to tell me what is your overall favorite Scooby-Doo movie, you can happily let me know that in the comments down below as well. You could all follow me on my social media accounts. I got Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. I got Letterboxd, I got Serialized, and I have to give a big thank you to Andrew Hayes for being my collaborator for Trick or Treat Scooby-Doo. He has been collaborating with me for some time with these Scooby-Doo reviews, and it's always fun collaborating with him because he's one of the biggest Scooby-Doo fans that I know personally. And if you all want to check out his channel, I will leave a link in the description down below. Thank you to everyone for celebrating Halloween with me, 22 Spooky Dude. Happy Halloween to everyone around. So, this is 22 Spooky Dude here, bringing you the Halloween spirit. And, of course, bringing the 22 in 2022. And don't forget, everyone, that I will always have Trick or Treat Tiger Power. Whoa.